वेलकम यू ऑल टू एआई की पाठशाला। एआई की पाठशाला आपकी अपनी पाठशाला है। So whatever session I am conducting, it's absolutely free of cost, and I usually conduct session at 9 p.m. IST. These days, because of the onset of the winter season, I've shifted my timing from 10 p.m. IST to 9 p.m. IST. And those of you who wants to join my live session, you can go to the description section of the video and join my Telegram group from the link attached there. So that's all. We are doing the object-oriented programming, and today is, I suppose, the sixth session in the object-oriented programming series. And let me share you my screen first, and then we will discuss. We will continue from where we have left yesterday. So from there, we will continue. And so let me share you my screen first.
Hi friends, please do subscribe AI Ki Pathshala YouTube channel. Please also like and share AI Ki Pathshala YouTube channel to your friends, relatives, and near and dear ones who are interested in learning AI, artificial intelligence, from basic to advanced level. Thanks and keep tuned for current live session.
Thanks, Mr. Bhagwan sir. It's so nice of you. And let's start. So are you able to see my screen? Can I get confirmation?
Yes, yes.
Fine. So see, we have discussed till, I suppose we have discussed till last of fine. So during the last session, we have created a fraction class, and inside that fraction class we have defined three methods. One is the init method. By default, this is the init method, and inside that init method we have passed two parameters, two arguments, numerator and denominator. After that, there is a second method called print fraction method. Why we have done this? To print the fraction that I am giving. I want to print the fraction, that's why I have defined this method. And the third method was to simplify the fraction. Whatever fraction I was I am giving, I want to simplify that fraction. For that, I was using this thing. So this was the last thing that we have done. Now, let me first copy this entire code and paste it in a new cell, because we are going to, let me write one more thing here. This is today's sessions. Let me write here, session underscore 006. So this is the sixth session. Fine. And let's paste this. Oh. Let me copy this entire code. So let's copy this code and then paste it here. Fine. So now we already have now what is the new thing that I want to do? First, let's understand what is the new thing that I want to do. Then I will explain you the other thing. Simplify. Okay, fine. So see, let me open this thing. See, what I want, this is a fraction class, and let's say I want to create an object of this fraction class. Let's say my object is f1. f1 is equal to fraction, 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 and let's write, let's give let's say 2, 5, because when I am creating this fraction, I have to give the two arguments which I have mentioned here, numerator and denominator. I have to give. So this is my first object f1, and let's say this is my second object f2. and this is object of, this is an object of this same fraction class, and let's say this time I am giving this value 1 comma 3. Now what I want to do this thing, f1 dot add f2. What it means, I want to add f2 to f1. f1 dot add f2. That means I want to update my f1 and I want to do f1 plus f2 actually. But in terms of this, I have to write one method for adding this f1 dot add to f2, that is whatever be my fraction object, whatever I am getting here, I want to add that to f2. This is my f1 object and this is my f2 object. I want to add this f1 to the this f2 to this f1. It means like that. Fine. So for achieving this, we have to write one method called add method, and inside that add method I will do this addition thing. Fine. I will do this addition thing, and thereafter whenever I will call this object f1 dot the method that I am going to define here, this method this method add method, let's say I am going to define here. Inside that add method I have to write a code in such a way that it will add f1 plus f2. So this is a simple thing to understand here. Now we already have done written these three methods. I have to write one more method, and that method will be the addition method or add method. Now let's understand one more thing here only. See, let's say suppose there is one fraction called x by y. This is one fraction, let's say this is f1, and this is one another fraction, let's say a by b. Fine. If I want to add these two fractions, what will be my result? Can you tell me? Mr. Sir, can you tell me, if I want to add this fraction, what is my result?
bx plus ay by yb.
First in the denominator what I will get, by, and in the numerator I will get xb plus
yes, ay.
This is what I get.
Yeah.
That what it means? It simply means I am taking the numerator of my first fraction and multiplying it with the denominator of the second fraction plus. So in the this is my, okay, after adding these two fractions, what I am getting? I am getting a new fraction. Let's say this is my new fraction. So in this new fraction, this is my numerator and this is my denominator. So what I am actually getting, how I am getting the numerator of this new fraction? Numerator of the first fraction into denominator of the second fraction plus numerator of the second fraction into denominator of the first fraction. This is how I am getting the numerator of a new fraction, added fraction. When we will add these two fractions, I will get. And this is the denominator of second fraction and denominator of first fraction. This is how I am getting the numerator and denominator here. So I am going to use the same concept in my code to add two fractions. Shall you get it?
Yeah.
So let's write the code. This is a very simple code. Let's write this code here. Let's write it. First, let me define this def, and thereafter let's write the name of this method as add. I'm giving this method name as add, and here inside this add method, first thing will come is the self. Why first self will come? Because self is the default. I have already explained this thing in the previous session. It is the default. Whatever object I am supplying here, self will be the first object that I am giving it to the. Whatever argument I am supplying, I am giving as an object, that comes inside this self. That means my first fraction, let's say f1, will be myself. And apart from this self, there will be some other fraction. So for other fraction, I am writing the name as other fraction. Just for your understanding, I am giving this name other fraction. So this is how I have defined one function here. Now, I want to same concept I am using here. Let's, so that x by y plus a by b, here xb, yb, xb plus ay. So same thing I am writing here in the form of code. Now, tell me, what is my new numerator? New numerator of the new fraction, which I want to add. If I want to add the two fraction, first fraction is myself, and the other fraction that I want to add inside the self fraction, let's say. So the new numerator will be like, this is, let's say, this is my self. Consider this as a self. Consider this fraction as a self, let's say, and consider this as other fraction. Consider this as other fraction. I am writing so that you don't get confused. Now, tell me, what will be my new fraction, new numerator? For calculating the new fraction, I have to calculate the new numerator and new denominator. So my new numerator will be other fraction, other fraction, other fraction dot denominator into self dot numerator. Are you getting this thing? Plus other fraction dot numerator plus self dot denominator. Same thing I have written here. Other fraction dot numerator. This is my other fraction dot denominator, this b, and what is my x? X is self dot numerator. Fine. Plus a is my other fraction dot numerator. This is my other fraction dot numerator plus y. Y is self fraction, this fraction dot denominator. So this is how I will get my new numerator. In the same way, let's write new denominator. Give it a variable name, this. Inside this is very simple. Other fraction dot denominator into self dot denominator. So let's write other fraction dot denominator multiplication self dot denominator. This is how I will get the new denominator. Now, finally, let's, since this, let me just clear this one. I'm done with this. Now, this is a new numerator and new denominator. Now, we can write this like self dot numerator. What will be my self value of the numerator? New numerator. Sorry, new num, num, and self dot denominator is new denominator. New denominator. In this way, I am getting my new numerator and new denominator. So this is how I can add my two fractions. Now let's first run this code. I am running this code. Fine, my code run. Now, to see, now I want to, let's create the two fraction first. I am creating the first fraction. Object of this fraction class, let's give it a name f1 is equal to, let's write fraction. I am creating the object f1 of this fraction class, and I am supplying this two value, numerator and denominator. This is my first fraction. Let's take second fraction. F2 is equal to, let's say, again fraction class, and give two values. First value is 1, comma, second value is denominator is 3. So this is the two fraction that we have done. Now let's run it. So these two object of this fraction class is created. Now what was my objective? I want to do f1 dot add, and I want to supply f2 as my argument inside this f. So I have done this f1. F1 is my object of the fraction class, and f1 in f1 I want to use this method, the add. So I am doing this f1 dot add, and inside this add I have to give this argument. One is the self, is the default argument, and other fraction is my other argument that I have to give. So I am giving this f2 because I want to add f1 and f2. So if I will run this thing, it got run. Now that means this thing has already been done. That means f1 dot f2, that means the value of f1 has been updated to f2, because when I am doing this here, I am getting this new numerator, new denominator. Here I am updating the value, self dot num is equal to new num. Now the new value of numerator and denominator, I got it. Now I have to print it. So for printing, we have already created one method to print the fraction. Now my numerator and denominator, I have updated my self dot num here, self dot num and self dot denominator here. Now I want to print this fraction. So let's print this fraction. So how will you print this fraction? For printing the fraction, f1 dot f2, it means you are updating the value of f1, but you are not changing the value inside f2. So you have to print, if you want to see the added value, you have to print f1. So I will use this method print fraction here to update the value of f1. So to print the value f1. So for that I have to do f1 dot print fraction. If I will simply do this and I will run this code. So what will happen? Let's see. Let's run this code and see. I am getting an updated value 12 by 15. So see, if let's say when you are adding 2 by 5 plus 1 by 3, this is 15. What is this? 2 by 5 and 1 by 3. 5 3s are 15. 5 3s are 15.
11.
6. 3 5s are 15. 11 by 15.
15.
So why I am getting 12 by 15 here? Am I doing anything wrong? Let's try it again. Let's do this here. Try this. So let's run this. Fine. Thereafter, let's take this thing. Let's run it. Thereafter, let's take this thing. And dot in student. Okay. Yes, it is coming out to be true. See here, I am getting true. 11 by 15. Fine. So let's use this thing. Sometimes Jupyter Notebook does these things, so don't worry. So let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So everything is same. Nothing I have changed here. Everything is same, I suppose. Other fraction dot denominator into self dot num plus other fraction dot numerator into self dot den. This is also this. This is also this. And simply when I am doing this, I am getting the updated value of f1. So if you can try it with some other value also. So let's try with some other value here. Let's try with this value. Let's try with this value. Let's say I f3 and f4. Can you give any other value of numerator and denominator here? Please give me some other value.
6 and 7.
6 and 7. And here inside this fraction?
4 and 5.
4 and 5?
Mm.
Fine. So let's run this. Then let's do this same thing here. Here f3, this is f3, this is f4, and this is f3. f3. Now let's run this. I am getting 58 by 35. Can you check? Is this fine or not? I am getting the right result or not? Can you please check?
35
6
or
by 7 plus 4 by 5.
4 by 5.
This is 35 and this is 30 plus 28. So
Right.
58 by 35. Fine.
Correct.
So let's take this as your thing, that this is my fraction class. Inside this fraction class, I have defined the 4 methods. First is my print method. With the help of this print method, I am printing my fraction. With the help of this simplify method, I am simplifying my fraction. With the help of this add method, I am adding my fraction. So till here, everything is clear. Now, I'm going to do just I'm adding one more thing here. So I'm taking the same program here. Let's take the same program, and now let's understand what I want to do. I want to add one more method here because I want to multiply also. So what I want here in this case, I have added two fractions. I have added two fraction. Object of first F1 object that I have created, fraction object that I have created. Let's say 2 by 5 I have created, and one F2 object I have created. F2 object of this fraction class, let's say 1, 3. And I have done this F1 dot add F2. Now this is done. Now I want to do F1 dot multiply, and I want to give it F2. Same thing I want to do. Here I was adding, here I want to multiply the two fractions. Object of this class, whatever be the object of my this class, I want to multiply these two fractions. So this is my purpose. And finally, I want to print it. Simply, what I am going to do, like I have added this add class here, in the same manner, add method here, in the same manner, I will add one more method called multiply method. And I will now, we have already understood this addition thing. Let's see if you want to multiply these fraction. Let's say there is one fraction called x by y, and you want to multiply a by b. This is another fraction, a by b. So what will be your result? xa by yb. So what is the numerator here? And let's say this is my self, this is my self, and this is my other fraction, other fraction, other fraction. Let's say other fraction. So what it means? Self, what will be my self dot numerator into other fraction dot numerator by self dot denominator into other fraction dot denominator. This I will, this thing will come. Can you understand this? Let me write it first, then you will get a complete understanding. So let's write def and multiply. Let's write one method called multiply, and inside this method, one thing will come self, and other thing will come other fraction will come. Fine. Then what will be my new numerator? New num. Yes, please tell me, sir. Do you want to leave? Hello?
Yes. Yes, it's next 5 minutes I will leave. Yeah.
Okay, fine. We will wrap up our session in next 5 minutes. Not an issue.
Hmm.
Because this is the last concept that I'm going to discuss right today. So it will be done in 5 minutes. So new num. So I'm defining a new numerator here. Same concept I'm using. New num is equal to other fraction into, not write it here, other fraction into num into self dot num. Self dot num. And new denominator, new den will be like other fraction into denominator into self dot denominator. Fine. This is how I will get the new numerator and new denominator. Thereafter, what will happen? I have to update it. So I have to update my new numerator and denominator. Let's update it. Self dot num is equal to new num, and self dot denominator is equal to new denominator, and whatever multiply fraction. Now see one more beautiful thing here. You can see this is a method which is a multiply method I am defining. So I will get, after multiplication, I will get my new numerator and new denominator here. But that new numerator and new denominator what I will get, that will not be in its simplified form. But I want it in a simplified form. So for that, what I will do, I will call this simplify method here inside this method. So I can also call one method inside the other method. So simply I am doing self dot simplify. If I will call this simplify method, whatever fraction I will get, it will be in the simplified form. So now let's run this code. I'm running this code. And now after running this code, let's check this with the help of, after running this code, let's check this with the help of, let's take one object, f1 is equal to, and fraction class, let's take two values. Let's say I'm giving 4 comma, let's say 6, and let's take second object of this fraction class, and let's take two values, 7 comma 8, 7 comma 8. Fine, this is my second thing. Let's run it. Now what I want to do, I want to multiply. So f1 dot multiply, I'm calling this, and I'm giving this value f2, supplying this f2 here. Fine. And finally I want to print that also. So let's print it, f1 dot print. Fine. If I just do this and I will run this code, let's see, I'm getting 7 by 12. Why I'm getting 7 by 12? Because see here, this is 4 by 6, this is 7 by 8, this will get cancelled, so I will get 7 by 12. So what exactly it is happening? First, see what is happening here. 4 by 6 multiply 7 by 8. First it is, I am getting 28 by 48. First I am getting this thing here. From here, I am getting this value from here in this line of code. I am getting here 28, my numerator, and here denominator I am getting 48. So numerator is 28, denominator is 48. This is 28 by 48 fraction I am getting here in these two lines. And after that, what it is I am doing, I am applying this self dot simplify. Same fraction, simplify fraction that I am defined here in my method. So what it is actually doing, it is simplifying my fraction. So finally I am getting the simplified form of this 28 by 48, which is 7 by 12, which is coming out to be 7 by 12, which is coming out to be 7 by 12. You can also check it like this, because we already have addition method inside it. So you can do the same for the addition also. So let's do it. F1 dot add F2, and thereafter, this is F1, not F. F1 dot add F2, F1 dot add F2, and thereafter F1 dot print. Let's give it a print. A print, and let's I am getting 140 by 96. Okay, fine. This is a Kamal of Jupyter notebook. So here output, restart my kernel, and let's run this again. Okay, if I run this again, let's run this again. Okay, I understood. Do you know why I am getting this thing? I will explain you. Let's do this. This time I am
Yeah,
getting right.
yeah.
So why I was getting this thing? Simply because the numerator and denominator value was get updated. So it was taking the
Ah,
updated value of numerator and denominator before it. That's why. If I will again do it, I will get something different, same thing. Then I am doing, and let's say if I will do this right now, I will get see different result. Why I am getting different result here? It's because simply the numerator and denominator get updated here. So it is taking the updated value of this numerator and denominator, and it is calculating on that. That's why I am getting this thing.
yeah.
You get it? So this
Mm,
is how we have finished the fraction thing here
mm,
today. So let me finish it by updating it on the GitHub. So let's update it first. Let's save this thing. So and save this. And now today we have completed fraction, and this is the sixth session, completed fraction in sixth session. So let's write this message and commit it.
mm,
Yes, sync changes. Okay, and it has been committed. Now let's go to the GitHub and check this. So GitHub. Can you see my GitHub? So what
mm,
is the name of my repository? Classes and objects. Let's go there and see. Yeah, today we have completed fraction in sixth session. So my code,
mm,
let's see. So this is the updated thing. Fine. See here.
mm,
So it's done finally. So from tomorrow, it will be better. I will make a different repository for every session. So it will be
mm.
easy. Otherwise, it will be difficult for people who will see to understand it. So that's all for the day, I suppose. And stopped sharing my screen. So okay. So this is all for the day. So from tomorrow I will continue. We will be moving to the next thing. And tomorrow we will be studying the class attributes and the object attributes and some other things inside it. Also, the static method and class method. I will be discussing the static method and the class method. So that's all for the day. So guys, take care, and whatever be your doubts, must put it in the comment section. I'm happy to resolve your doubts. That's all. Thanks. Take care. Bye bye.